My name is Robert Callahan. I'm 74 years old. Some of you might recognize me from a video I did a few weeks ago. The response was more than I ever expected, and I'm grateful for every single comment. But today, I need to tell you something I held back last time, something I wasn't ready to say out loud. I'm ready now. 3 years ago, 2 days after my wife Margaret's funeral, I was cleaning out her closet, not because I wanted to. I could barely stand being in our bedroom. But her sister said it might help to start organizing her things. Give yourself something to do, she said. Keep your hands busy when your heart is breaking. I was reaching for a box on the top shelf when another box fell from behind it. A shoebox, old, held together with a rubber band that snapped the moment I touched it. I'd never seen this box before, not once in 43 years of marriage. Inside were 23 letters, handwritten, folded neatly, every single one addressed to me. Not one of them had ever been delivered. The oldest was from 1989. The newest was from 2 months before she died. 23 letters spanning over 30 years. 30 years of things my wife wanted to say to me and couldn't. I sat on the floor of that closet for 4 hours reading them. And by the time I finished, I was a different man, a broken man, because those letters showed me exactly who I'd been as a husband. And it wasn't who I thought I was. Let me tell you about Margaret. We met in 1978 at a bookstore on Elm Street. She was reading the back of a novel, standing there completely lost in it, and I asked her if it was any good. She looked up at me and said, "I don't know yet. I don't judge things before I've experienced them." I should have remembered that line for the rest of my life. It told me everything about who she was. Patient, open, willing to give things a chance, willing to give people a chance. She gave me more chances than I ever deserved. We married in 1980, big church wedding. Her father walked her down the aisle, and I remember standing at that altar thinking, I am the luckiest man alive. And I was. I just didn't act like it, not for long enough. The first few years were wonderful. We talked about everything. We'd stay up until 2 in the morning debating books, arguing about politics, dreaming about what we'd name our kids. We'd cook dinner together and dance in the kitchen to whatever was on the radio. She had this laugh, full and unrestrained, the kind that filled every room she walked into. Somewhere along the way, I stopped making her laugh. It wasn't a decision, it was erosion, slow, silent, invisible erosion, like a riverbank that looks solid for years until one day it just collapses. And by the time you notice, the damage is already done. The first letter in that box was dated March 14th, 1989. Our daughter Emma was 2 years old. I've memorized every word. Here's what it said. Dear Robert, I don't know why I'm writing this instead of talking to you. Maybe because when I try to talk, you're not really there. You look at me and you nod, but your eyes are somewhere else. Tonight I told you I've been feeling lonely. You said, how can you be lonely? I'm right here. That's the problem, Robert. You're right here and I still feel alone. I love you. I just wish you could hear me. Maggie. She never gave me that letter. She folded it, put it in a shoebox, and closed the lid. I had no idea. You see, I thought I was doing everything right. I worked hard. I provided for my family. I came home every single night. I coached our son's little league team. I fixed things around the house. I never cheated, never drank too much, never raised my hand. By every conventional measure, I was a good husband. But here's what I didn't understand. And what I need you to understand. There's a difference between being present and being there. Being physically in the room doesn't mean you're emotionally available. And I wasn't. I was there in body, but absent in every way that actually mattered. Let me tell you about a Tuesday in 1994. Margaret wrote about it in letter number 7. She'd gotten a call that afternoon from the doctor. She'd found a lump in her breast. She was terrified. She waited all day for me to come home so she could tell me. When I walked through the door, she said, "Robert, I need to talk to you about something important." I said, "Can it wait? The game's about to start." The game, a football game I can't even remember now. Teams I couldn't name if you paid me. That was more important to me than the fear in my wife's eyes. She waited until halftime. She told me about the lump. I said, "I'm sure it's nothing. Don't worry about it." And I turned back to the television. In her letter about that night, she wrote, "You didn't ask me if I was scared. You didn't hold me. You just told me not to worry, like my feelings were an inconvenience. The lump turned out to be benign, but something inside me changed that night. I stopped expecting you to be my safe place." Let that sink in. I was her husband, and she stopped feeling safe with me, not because I was dangerous, not because I was cruel, because I was indifferent. And indifference, I've learned, is its own kind of cruelty, maybe the worst kind, because at least cruelty acknowledges you exist. Letter number 12 was from 2003. Our kids were teenagers. Margaret had started volunteering at the local library, and she'd been asked to help organize a literary festival. She was excited about it. More excited than I'd seen her in years. She brought it up at dinner. "They want me to coordinate the whole event," she said. "It's a lot of work, but I think I could do something really special with it." I said, "That's nice," and kept eating. That's nice. 2 words, no follow-up questions. No, tell me more about it. No, I'm proud of you. No, what would you do with it? Just that's nice, like she'd told me the weather. In her letter, she wrote, "I don't need you to be impressed, Robert. I just need you to be interested." When did you stop being interested in me? Was it gradual, or did you wake up one day and decide I wasn't worth your curiosity anymore? I want you to hear that word, curiosity, because that's what dies first in a relationship. Not love, not attraction, not even respect. Curiosity, the desire to know the other person, to discover what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what they're dreaming about, to ask questions you don't already know the answers to. I stopped being curious about my wife, and when you stop being curious about someone, you stop seeing them. They become furniture, part of the background of your life, something you walk past every day without noticing. Margaret became part of my background, the most extraordinary person I've ever known, and I reduced her to scenery. Letter number 15 was from 2008, and this one haunts me. Margaret's mother had just died, Eleanor. Wonderful woman. Margaret was devastated. She needed me, really needed me. And you know what I did? I handled the logistics. I made the calls. I arranged the funeral. I dealt with the paperwork. I was efficient, organized, helpful in every practical way. But I never once sat down with her and asked her how she was feeling. Never held her while she cried. Never said, "Tell me about your mother. Tell me your favorite memory. Tell me what you're going to miss most." She wrote, "You planned a beautiful funeral, Robert. Everything was perfect. The flowers, the readings, the reception. You handled it all. And I sat next to you through the whole thing, feeling completely alone. I didn't need a project manager. I needed my husband. I needed someone to hold me and let me fall apart. But you don't do falling apart, you do fixing. And some things can't be fixed. Some things just need to be felt." I was so busy being useful that I forgot to be human. Letter number 16 is the one I can barely get through. It's from 2011. Dear Robert, today is our 31st anniversary. You forgot. I didn't remind you because I wanted to see if you'd remember on your own. You didn't. You came home, ate dinner, watched the news, and went to bed. I sat in the kitchen afterward and cried. Not because you forgot the date, because I realized I wasn't surprised. When did I stop being surprised by your indifference? When did I start expecting nothing from you? I think that might be the saddest thing of all. Not that you let me down, but that I stopped believing you wouldn't. I still love you. God help me, I still love you. Your Maggie. She still loved me. After years of being overlooked and undervalued, after years of writing letters she'd never send and crying in kitchens alone, she still loved me. And somehow that makes it worse, because she deserved someone who loved her back with the same intensity, the same devotion, the same daily, deliberate attention. I loved her. I need you to know that. I loved Margaret. But I loved her passively, lazily. I loved her the way you love something you think will always be there, the way you love the sunrise. You appreciate it exists, but you don't bother getting up to watch it. Margaret got up every single day and watched the sunrise of our marriage. I pulled the covers over my head. There's a letter from 2015, number 20. She'd just turned 63. Robert, I had lunch with Carol today. Her husband David has Parkinson's. He shakes so badly he can barely hold a fork. But Carol told me that last week he spent 2 hours researching restaurants for her birthday. He called ahead to make sure they had her favorite dessert. He wrote her a note and put it on her pillow. He can barely write anymore, but he wrote her a note. I came home and told you this story. You said, "That's a shame about David." You missed the point entirely. David, with his trembling hands and his failing body, is more present in his marriage than you are with your perfect health and your perfect indifference. I wanted you to hear that story and think about us. Instead, you heard it and thought about him. You always think about everything except us. When I read that letter, I put the box down, and I didn't pick it up again for 3 days. Because she was right. David had almost nothing and gave everything. I had everything and gave almost nothing. What was my excuse? I didn't have one. I was just lazy, comfortable, complacent. I treated my marriage like it was self-sustaining, like it was a machine that would run forever without fuel. But marriages aren't perpetual motion machines. They need energy, attention, effort, intention. Without those things, they don't explode, they don't catch fire, they just slowly, quietly go cold. And by the time you notice the chill, it's been winter for years. The last letter in the box was dated January 8th, 2022, 2 months before her stroke. This is the one I need every single one of you to hear, because this one isn't just for me, it's for all of us. Dear Robert, I'm writing this and I don't know if I'll ever give it to you. I probably won't. I've never given you any of these letters. They're for me, I think. My way of being heard, even if only by myself. We're 71 now, or close to it. And I find myself looking at you across the breakfast table and feeling something I can't quite name. It's not anger, not anymore. It's not even sadness exactly. It's grief. I'm grieving the marriage we could have had, the conversations we could have shared, the adventures we could have taken, the closeness we could have built. I'm grieving the version of you that danced with me in the kitchen in 1981. I know he's still in there somewhere. I see glimpses of him sometimes. When you laugh at something unexpected, or when you hold my hand absent-mindedly while we're watching television. Those tiny moments keep me here. Those accidental moments of connection. But they're not enough. They haven't been enough for a long time. If you ever find these letters, and I think part of me hopes you will, please know this. I loved you every single day of our marriage. Every day, even the bad ones, especially the bad ones. I just wish you had fought for us the way I did. I wish you had noticed me. You're Maggie. You're Maggie. After 43 years, she still signed herself as mine, even though I'd given her every reason to stop. Margaret died on March 19th, 2022, a massive stroke. She was in the garden, planting tomatoes. She loved that garden. She'd spend hours out there, talking to the plants like they were old friends. I was inside, watching television, something forgettable, something meaningless. She died doing something she loved, alone, while I sat 30 feet away doing nothing important. The last thing I said to her that morning was, "Don't forget to pick up milk." Not, "I love you." Not, "You look beautiful today." Not, "What are you planting out there? Tell me about it." Don't forget to pick up milk. Those were my last words to the woman who loved me for 43 years. And I have to carry that for the rest of my life. After the funeral, people kept telling me what a wonderful marriage we had. What a great couple we were. How lucky Margaret was to have me. Lucky. She wrote 23 letters to a man who never heard her, and people called her lucky. She wasn't lucky. She was patient. She was loyal. She was extraordinary. And she was alone inside a marriage that everyone else thought was perfect. Here's what I need you to take from this. If you're listening to this right now and you have someone in your life who loves you, hear me. Love is not a noun. It's a verb. It's not something you have. It's something you do every single day in 100 small ways that feel insignificant but are actually everything. It's putting your phone down when they're talking to you. It's asking, "How was your day?" and actually listening to the answer, not waiting for them to finish so you can talk. Listening, it's remembering the things that matter to them, not because you have a good memory, but because you care enough to pay attention. It's saying, "Tell me more," instead of "That's nice." It's noticing when they're quiet and asking why, instead of just enjoying the silence. It's following up. It's asking, "What happened with that thing you told me about?" It's proving you were listening last time. It's dancing in the kitchen, even when you're tired, especially when you're tired. It's choosing them, not once at the altar, but every single morning when you wake up and decide what kind of partner you're going to be that day. I chose wrong for 43 years, not dramatically wrong, not spectacularly wrong. Not the kind of wrong that makes headlines or ends in courtrooms. Quietly wrong, mundanely wrong. The kind of wrong that looks right from the outside. People envied our marriage. We looked perfect in photographs. But photographs don't capture the silence between two people who've stopped trying. They don't show you the letters hidden in shoeboxes. The tears cried in empty kitchens, the slow death of hope behind a smile. I would give everything I own, everything, to go back in time and find that box while she was still alive, to sit down with her and read every letter one by one, to look her in the eyes and say, "I hear you, I see you, I'm so sorry. Please, let me try again." But time doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care about your regrets or your promises or your good intentions. It just keeps moving, and one day it stops for the person you love, and it keeps going for you. And you're left standing there with a shoebox full of proof that you failed the only person who never stopped believing in you. So I'm telling you instead, because you still have a chance, the chance I didn't take. Go home tonight and look at your partner. Really look at them. Not at your phone, not at the television, at them. Look at the face of the person who chose to spend their life with you. And ask yourself, am I earning that choice? Today, right now? Ask them something you don't know the answer to. Listen like your life depends on it. Because your relationship does. Do something small and intentional that says, "I see you. I'm grateful you're here. You matter to me." Not on their birthday, not on your anniversary. Today, for no reason. That's the whole point. Love without a reason is the most powerful kind. Don't wait for the right time. There is no right time. There's only now. And now has an expiration date that none of us can read. Margaret deserved more than I gave her. I can't fix that. I can't go back. I can't dance with her in the kitchen. I can't ask about her garden or sit with her during halftime and hold her while she's scared. That's gone. All of it, gone. But if enough of you hear this and change even one small thing, if even one person puts down their phone tonight and really listens, if even one person asks a question and actually cares about the answer, then maybe Margaret's 23 letters finally did what they were always meant to do. They finally got delivered. Thank you for listening. I mean that. This channel features stories from people like me, people who've lived long enough to learn things the hard way so you don't have to. If this hit you somewhere, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to do differently. Tell me about the person you love. Tell me what you've been putting off. And if you've got a story of your own, something you've been through that might help someone else avoid the same pain, there's a form down in the description. Fill it out. Share your story, because someone out there needs to hear it before it's too late.